Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. First, let's start with the background. Resize and position your background image to fit your canvas. Since the image looks a bit too bright, let's reduce the layer opacity. Now that we have the background ready, let's bring in the main car image. Use the object selection tool to make a selection around the car. Once the selection is done, press Ctrl J to duplicate the selected car onto a new layer. Now that the car is cut out, let's turn off the visibility of the original car image since we don't need it anymore. Next, use the Move tool to position the car where you want it on the canvas. To display the car's features behind it, create a new layer. Then, use the rectangular marquee tool to make a rectangle selection. And fill it with color of your choice. Hold Alt-Tab and drag to the side to duplicate the rectangle. Since the car should be in front of both rectangles, move the car layer to the very top. Now we're going to add an image inside the first rectangle. Go to File, Greater Than Place Embedded, and choose the car wheel image. Since you want the wheel image to appear inside the first rectangle, place the wheel layer right above the rectangle layer. Then right-click on the wheel layer and choose Create Clipping Mask. Adjust the size and position however you like. To add a stroke to the rectangle border, double-click on the layer to open Layer Style. Then add a white stroke. You can adjust the position and size so it's visible. Since the front car and the car wheel rectangle behind it are overlapping, we'll add a layer mask. After that, apply a gradient using transparency to blend it nicely. Create a new layer and create a clipping mask so it only affects the car wheel layer. Next, use the gradient tool. In the gradient options, choose foreground to transparent and change the color to white. Apply it on the image wherever you like. Finally, set the blending mode to vivid light. Now, take an image and place it inside the back rectangle. Position it where you want. To make it affect only the bottom rectangle, create a clipping mask. Adjust the size and position of the image however you like. To add a white stroke to the bottom rectangle's border, double-click on the layer to open Layer Style and then add a white stroke. Add a layer mask to separate the car and the rectangle. Use the gradient tool just like we did with the first front rectangle. However, since the gradient already has white in the options, create a new layer and apply the white gradient there first. This way, you won't need to adjust the gradient twice. When you apply the gradient tool, it affects the whole image, so create a clipping mask to make it affect only the rectangle. Also, change the layer blending mode to vivid light. Next, use the layer mask we added earlier. In the gradient, switch the color to black and apply it just like we did with the first front rectangle. This will give the same clean effect as before. Activate the background layer and create a new layer. This new layer will be positioned under the car layer. Use the rectangular marquee tool to make a rectangle selection. Then fill it with color. For harmony with the car, we've chosen an orange color. The color looks too bright, so we changed it to a darker, more muted shade for a calmer look. Now, let's add a shadow under the car. Some people like to use a brush. It's quick and easy. I personally like using the pen tool, so I'll use that. Don't forget to create a new layer for the shadow. To soften the shadow, apply Gaussian blur. Since the car and the ground aren't too far apart, I'll keep the shadow subtle and not too blurred. You can also adjust the layer opacity as needed. Now, select the orange ground layer we used earlier and create a new layer above it. Then use the gradient tool. Since we already used a black transparent gradient before, we don't need to adjust it again. Just apply it directly on this layer. You could use a clipping mask, but honestly, I don't even know why I'm erasing with a layer mask instead. Finally, lower the layer opacity because it looks a bit too dark. Let's create one more new layer. Then, use the rectangular marquee tool to make a rectangle selection. We'll fill it with an orange color again so it stays in harmony with the car. After that, change the blending mode to multiply. I'm not going to show the typing part anymore since it's really easy. And that's it. We've just created a car ads poster design like this. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe for more upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.